The most important things you need to work on now for your college apps, and you need to work on them now. Um, I think that a lot of anxiety, especially with the college apps, is not really understanding it enough, not really knowing about it, and just worrying about it chronically, right? And that just builds up over time. Instead of doing that, start working on it now, okay? Um, when you start working on it now, don't try to make it perfect from the beginning. Just take baby steps. Just take small steps, and you have a year. Okay, it's a lot of time, and work on it step by step. And I promise you, it's not gonna be that stressful. Okay. I'm not talking about worrying about getting into college. That's a whole other thing that I covered in my previous video, right? Some of it. Today, I'm not going to talk about how to fill out the college app. That will be in subsequent videos. I'm going to give you an overview and what are like the main things you need to focus on right now so that when you start working on your college app next year, you won't be stressed out, you'll be ready for it, and you'll actually be looking forward to it. Okay? So I just kind of put everything on one list and I'll just go through each one step by step. Okay, decide on your theme first. Okay, now this will take some thought, but it's not that I'm not saying you should finish and decide on your theme now. I'm saying you should think about it now. Okay, and I've done a lot of videos and seminars. I've probably done over 100 seminars on this topic of choosing a theme. Right, you don't want to be a well balanced jack of all trades. You want to be very specific and very narrow in terms of what you're passionate about, what you're good at, and what makes you unique and stand out from other applicants. So your theme could be creative writing, your theme could be computational physics, your theme could be like historian, if you've done well in like NHD, that type of thing. Your theme could be like uh, um, I'm an athlete that also cares about social justice. You just want to narrow things down and understand what you want to focus on, because then that's going to guide all your activities going forward for the next 12 months, right? And if it doesn't fit the theme, you don't work on it, okay? And I think this is one thing where working with a college consultant can actually help if they understand what I'm talking about. A lot of college consultants don't. They want to make your essays sound pretty and they just work on your essays. Your activities are kind of all over the place. And then it becomes really difficult to work on your college app because you don't know what to write for the major, you don't know how to write the why major essay. When you have a good theme, it makes preparing for the application really straightforward. It also makes filling out the application very straightforward. And it gives you an overall guide of what you want to write about for the essays. So this is a very important process. If you need help with this, email us at mentors@ivyzen.net and we'll help you out with it. Okay. The second one, lots of brainstorming, 여유 있게. So, with some breathing room, right? So a lot of brainstorming. Don't write essays. Okay, what I mean by this is not for now, this is for later. This is for like in June of next year. You don't want to sit down or you don't even want to think about writing essays, okay? It's too nerve-wracking. There's too many things that you have to do if you say, I have to write a college essay. Okay. And I tell parents this all the time. Don't pressure your student, your son or your daughter by saying, let's write those college essays. We got to start working on college essays. The way I like to think about it is let's just write some content that will later be formed into college essays. Okay. You can literally just sit down at a cafe and just start writing about, picture yourself talking to a college admissions officer at Yale, and they say, why should we choose you? And then you just start writing like as if you're just chatting with someone, and just build a lot of content. Okay. What I think a lot of people misunderstand about writing is that they think they can think about it abstractly and then they can write it. Okay. So they make all their decisions in abstract inside their head, make a decision, I'm going to write about this, and then they start writing it. Okay. And you can do that, but typically it's very frustrating and needlessly exhausting. It's better to just write. And you think that it's going to tire you out if you just start writing and you just waste a lot of words and a lot of time just writing about all different kinds of stuff. But it's actually way faster and way more efficient. Just trust me on this, okay? And just try it out. Pick a topic and you just start writing. And the best thing about this is that there's no pressure. You're not writing an essay. You haven't even committed to writing the essay. You haven't even committed to, whatever. And if you do this, here's the other benefit. You can show it to your parents and say, hey, here's 5 pages I've been working on. They'll go, oh my God, you're such an amazing, responsible, but you haven't made any decisions. If you start with the brainstorming and just writing content, working on content, instead of trying to write those essays and those awesome, perfect essays that are going to get you into Princeton, it's going to make things way better. Now, if you start this in September, obviously it's going to be very difficult because you don't have a lot of time, and that pressure is going to cramp your creativity. So you want to start in May or June, okay? Yeah, I have tons more to say about this. And the Ivy Zen process, we spend a lot of time with this. We do off-the-wall crazy ideas, write about every single possible thing. We have weird prompts that help students get a little bit more creative. For the most part, if they've been doing consulting with us from early on, we kind of know what they're going to write about already because they have a lot of achievements and activities. But anyway, email us at mentors@ivyzen.net. We'll give you more tips on it. Okay. Focus on the process, not the result, and be engaged. Be engaged and stay engaged, okay? If you start early and at any point you start getting stressed out and it's driving you crazy, don't just completely stop and walk away from it, okay? What you do is you just take a step back. Instead of slamming the brakes, you just slow down, right? You're going 100 miles an hour, slow down, go down to 60, go down to 40, go down to 20. Keep moving, but just back off a little bit, okay? At no point should you be like, is this a Harvard-worthy essay? I mean, obviously, those considerations that's just always going to be there in the background. But focusing on, what if I don't get in? And that also is going to cramp your creativity. And it's going to put a lot of roadblocks and obstacles. So, one thing that we do at Ivy Zen to prevent this is we have like a 50 plus to-do list. And if you look on the right-hand side here, we made this to-do list for students to, we don't show it to them in the beginning unless they want to see it. We just guide them through it. But at any point they start freaking out a little bit, then we'll show them the list and be like, just do this, okay? Don't think about writing great essays. Don't think about, getting into school or getting that rejection letter, or don't think about any of that stuff. Just follow this to-do list and do one step at a time. It's really broken down into small things. So if you look, I blacked out most of it because this is like, we put a lot of work into it. I don't want to, can't give it away for free. Finalize student resume, go through how to write essay guide and essay archetype guides. We have a lot of guides. Essay mapping, get checked by Mark, that's me. do it for one school with lots of essays, do the Y major, one or two YS essays. These are all just brainstorming, creating content. This doesn't mean like do the final thing. Finish first main essay rough draft based on theme. So we do a lot of the Common App essay / main essay. We do a lot of different drafts of this. Work with the writing team on the second main essay. And then in August, so we have a very specific to-do list. You can make your own, but just break it down into as many tiny steps as you can. That way you can keep working on it without losing too much momentum. Okay, too many cooks spoil the broth. I think this is a problem more for parents, but students do fall into this as well. If you took 10 of the greatest world-class chefs in the world, put them in the same kitchen and told them to make one dish, what do you think would happen? One of two things will happen. They'll either fight and leave, or they'll finish the dish and it'll be the worst tasting dish ever. But these are world-class chefs. They all have different styles, right? And style is a factor. Your writing style is not that important, not nearly as important as people think. But people have different ideas. And what happens a lot of times is mom has a cousin's, nephew's, brother's, next door neighbor's son who got into Harvard. And so we got a hold of that essay. It was from 8 years ago. And he was a STEM kid. And the essay is horrible, but he got in because he was on the US physics team. Okay. This is a true story too. And he had like 5 research papers by his Caltech tenured professor uncle, who was a tenured professor at Caltech in physics, and helped him with a bunch of research papers. Okay. His essay was horrible. But because he got into Harvard, mom thinks that it was because of this essay without knowing all the details. And then says, you need to write an essay like this. And you look at it and you're like, first of all, this is horrible. Secondly, my writing level is way better than this. Third, it's not me at all. This is not how I talk. It's not how I think. It's not my personality. What you want is you want one really good, experienced professional who is a guide. It could be a consultant, it could be a teacher, it could be a tutor, somebody who knows what they're doing, okay? Then you want someone that you trust. I don't mean trust emotionally, but trust that they'll give you honest, objective feedback and they are competent. So it could be your English teacher who doesn't know anything about college essays, but is good at writing, right? Or maybe she's really creative, like a creative writer. And then your parents. So that's it. Okay? You must make the final decisions on everything. All right? You're the one going to college. But you get feedback from these 3 people. Anything other than that, in addition to that, is just gonna hurt you. Okay? It's not gonna help you, right? A lot of perfectionists do this. They'll try to get feedback from 10 different people, and it'll actually confuse them and it'll make their essay worse. And then there are other problems that happen, like someone suggests that they rewrite the whole thing. They freak out and they actually do it, waste time and energy. And then they get so exhausted by the end, they just send in whatever, and it's not their best essay, right? Okay. Don't underestimate the paperwork. So when I went to college, I went to Chicago, University of Chicago, and I worked in the admissions office there. And this was in 1992. It's a long time ago. Back then, it was paper applications. And I saw the craziest stuff happening. People would send in perfumed applications. People would wrap the application in something beautiful. We got a cake one time. We got animals one time. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening. People just doing anything and everything that they can to make them stand out. The problem with the paper application is that you have to organize it. I would have to organize it. I would get paper cuts, put it all into a file, make sure it's complete, and then hand it off to the admissions officer so they can evaluate it. And within that type of process, if you have a lot of supplemental material, it's really annoying. Okay. Obviously now everything's electronic, and they actually want extra material because it's very easy and convenient to check. The amount of paperwork and like electronic paperwork, the stuff you have to fill out, the questions you have to answer, the supplemental materials, the stuff you have to get ready is no joke. At Ivy Zen, we have teams of people checking the application, the essays, QA, make sure there's no mistakes on everything. It's a ton of work now. So it's very doable, okay? But don't underestimate it. So start early, okay? Start early, and I guess the last two here, make checklists and get help. Like that's the best way to do it. The Common App these days is so difficult. You don't have to get help from, a college consulting firm like us. You can just get help from your older brother or sister who's been through it. You can get help from a cousin. And tell them, I don't want your feedback on the essay. Thank you. I love you. But I just need your help guiding me through the application process. Okay. And that will prevent you from making mistakes. And if you have that backstop, if you have that support, that's going to also help you from, getting too anxious. Okay. All right. That's the main stuff. I do want to, this is the full list of, this is our checklist for the application. There's a lot of stuff in it. Okay. So don't underestimate the paperwork. And then, when it comes to getting help, getting support, making checklists and all that stuff, don't do it on Google Doc, which is what a lot of students like kind of revert to. You can use Google Doc for your essays. It's kind of good for that. Although nowadays I still kind of think it doesn't really help that much. What's much better is a project management tool. You need like some software that's hosted online on their servers, and you can invite other people into it, and everybody can see what's going on inside of that. You can save all your documents there. You can organize everything in file folders, so it's very easy to keep track of. You can make to-do lists, and there are tons of project management software tools out there. We've been using Basecamp for like 20 years, and it's worked well for us, and so that's highly recommended. Okay. The first thing I talked about, making a theme, what I would suggest if you're really stuck, or maybe you're not stuck and you have good ideas, but you just want to confirm it, or you want to do a really, really good job. Like you've got some great activities, you've won some big awards, and you want to maximize this to make sure that you can really get into the top colleges, then that's exactly what Ivy Zen does. Is we work with kids who want to get into the very top colleges: MIT, Caltech, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford. That's our bread and butter, and we do this all the time. We've been doing it for almost 3 decades now. So what we'll do for you, and our consultations are free. Give us a call or email us at mentors@ivyzen.net, and we'll go over all the 4 things, the 4 main things for your roadmap: the GPA, the research, academic competitions, and your leadership. And we'll do an inventory. We'll suggest ways to increase it, what to focus on, what would be a good theme, all that stuff. We'll give you a plan with goals and schedules and timelines and all the stuff that you need to focus on. And once you have this, you'll notice your anxiety decreases dramatically. I've had students who walk in and they're literally on pins and needles, and they're like arguing with their mom as they walk in the door, and then when they leave, they have big smiles on their faces. And that was, it was all for free. Obviously, if you're a good student and we like you and we make the plan for you, we'd love for you to work with us. But sometimes it just doesn't make sense, so that's fine. But doing the consultation and getting the customized roadmap, all that stuff would be great. One thing about Ivy Zen is that we're very pro student. We'll almost always take the side of the student. We were all in that situation ourselves, and so a lot of our conversations with the parents are like, "Stop chansoring your son," you know, everything's going great. Stop bothering him. Like he has enough stress, and we'll be your advocate. Um, and we take a lot of pride in that, supporting and mentoring our students. So uh, yeah, let us know if you have any questions or if there's any way we can help you out.